There's a moment in life when you realize something unsettling. The harder you try to be liked, the less weight your presence carries. You speak more, you explain yourself, you try to say the right things, and somehow, people listen less. Stoicism teaches a different truth. Attraction is not created by clever words. It is revealed by inner stability. The most powerful people in the room are rarely the loudest. They don't rush to impress, they don't chase reactions, they don't fear silence. Their words are few, but when they speak, they land. Today, we're not talking about manipulation. We're not talking about charisma tricks. We're talking about 6 simple words that quietly signal self-mastery. Not because they force attraction, but because they no longer need it. Most people believe attraction is something you do. Say the right thing, act the right way, get the right reaction. Stoicism rejects this entirely. The moment you try to control how others feel about you, you give them power over you. Attraction cannot be forced because anything that requires effort carries need, and the need is visible. People are drawn to those who are self-contained, those who don't seek approval, those who are at ease without attention. As Epictetus warned, you lose freedom the moment you depend on what you don't control. Stoic attraction is not persuasion. It is the side effect of inner independence. Word 1. I'm comfortable with that. Most people feel unsettled the moment things don't go their way. They rush to explain, they argue, they try to regain control. When you say, I'm comfortable with that, the dynamic changes. You're not agreeing, you're not giving in. You are showing that your inner state is not negotiable. This sentence signals emotional stability. It tells the other person that uncertainty does not intimidate you and disagreement does not threaten your sense of self. Stoicism teaches that peace comes from accepting what lies outside your control. Resistance creates tension. Acceptance creates gravity. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the mind becomes powerful when it remains undisturbed by external events. Calm acceptance is not weakness. It is a disciplined strength. Word 2. Take your time. Urgency is one of the clearest signs of inner imbalance. People rush when they fear loss. They pressure when they need outcomes. When you say, take your time, you remove that pressure entirely. This sentence signals abundance. It tells others you are not anxious for approval, answers, or decisions. You are steady, whether they choose quickly or not at all. Stoicism values patience because patience reflects control, not control over others, but control over your own impulses. As Seneca warned, haste is the enemy of wisdom. When you give others time, you show that silence doesn't unsettle you and waiting does not weaken you. Calm patience creates space, and space creates attraction. Word 3. I don't need to convince you. The need to convince is the need to be validated. Most people argue not to clarify truth, but to protect their ego. When you say, I don't need to convince you, you step out of that trap. This sentence signals inner authority. It shows that your position does not depend on agreement, that your self-worth is not up for debate. Stoicism teaches a hard rule. What others think is not yours to control. As Epictetus made clear, freedom begins the moment you stop trying to govern other minds. When you no longer chase understanding, people begin to listen differently. Calm certainty carries weight, and weight draws attention without effort. Word 4. That's fair. Most people hear disagreement as a threat. Their first instinct is to defend, correct, or dominate the moment. When you say, that's fair, you interrupt that reflex. You're not conceding your position, you're acknowledging reality without ego. This sentence signals maturity. It shows that your identity is not fused with being right, that you can recognize another perspective without losing yourself. Stoicism values clarity over victory, understanding over reaction. As Marcus Aurelius observed, Truth does not require force to stand. When you respond without defensiveness, tension dissolves. Respect takes its place. Calm acknowledgement is not submission. It is controlled by strength. Word 5. I'm not attached to the outcome. Attachment is where most people lose their power. They want a specific response, a specific answer, a specific result, and the moment they want it, they become tense. When you say, I'm not attached to the outcome, you signal freedom. This sentence shows that you will act with integrity whether things go your way or not. That your calm does not depend on external results. Stoicism teaches this discipline clearly. You control effort. You release outcomes. As Epictetus taught, peace begins when desire stops arguing with reality. Detachment removes pressure. Pressure dissolves resistance. When you are free from outcomes, your presence becomes lighter and, paradoxically, more compelling. Word 6. I respect myself. This is the sentence most people never say, because it must be true before it can be spoken. When you say, I respect myself, you're not announcing confidence. You're declaring a boundary. This sentence signals that your time, energy, and values are not up for negotiation, that you don't stay where you are diminished, that you don't explain yourself to earn permission. Stoicism places self-respect at the center of character. Without it, calm is an act. With it, calm is natural. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, self-respect begins when you refuse to abandon your principles for comfort. People feel this immediately, not because you say it, but because you live it. Stoic masculinity frame. Weak versus strong. Weak men speak to be accepted. They explain too much. They chase agreement. They fear silence because silence feels like rejection. Strong men are different. They speak when it matters. They allow misunderstanding. They let outcomes unfold without gripping them. Stoic masculinity is not aggression, it is restraint. A strong man does not need to dominate a room. His calm does the work for him. He knows that self-control is power, that dignity requires no audience, and that presence grows when the need to be liked disappears. This is not indifference. It is an inner command. Quiet authority. These 6 words are not techniques, they are signals. They don't work because they are spoken well, they work because they come from a disciplined inner state. If you say them while still needing approval, they lose their weight. If you say them from self-mastery, they carry gravity. Stoicism never promised popularity. It promised freedom. Freedom from chasing reactions. Freedom from explaining yourself. Freedom from tying your peace to how others respond. Attraction is not something you pursue. It is something others feel when you are no longer trying to be felt. When you become comfortable with uncertainty, patient with silence, unattached to outcomes, and firm in self-respect, your presence changes. You speak less, but your words land deeper. This is not charm, this is control. Master the inner world, and the outer world responds on its own terms. That is Stoic power.